Hi, my name is Zara Hoffman. I'm the founder of Inimitable Books, and in today's vlog, I had captured a lot of footage of myself trying to implement a new routine after my dog passed away. I was following Jessica Brody's new book, Page 1 to Done. I had hoped to have my videos about Save the Cat Writes a Novel, Save the Cat Writes a Young Adult Novel, and Page 1 to Done, all written by her, up as individual videos before this, but life has been a little bit busy for me as I've been finding my footing after Riley passed. And I am now back on a new routine, which is definitely making sure that I am doing the physical activity I need to be healthy, and also trying to get back into a work routine that isn't I'm working in the morning and I'm working at night, and often really late at night, because I had gotten off that while doing the French work experiment, during which I was also doing this Page 1 to Done experiment, but I fell off that and am now making a new routine. I haven't really been vlogging it, but I want to get this video out to you. So please enjoy my trying to implement Jessica Brody's Page 1 to Done fast drafting method. So this is me doing my morning routine. As you can see, it is definitely sped up. I have to check my Forest app to see when I've actually gone to sleep any given day. And I also normally read before bed, so I check and see how long I was doing that before I finally closed my eyes the previous night. And this is me finishing up the morning routine and getting my Forest app ready to time how much I am writing. The reason I didn't do a countdown was this was my first time writing in forever, and I was curious to see how long I could go for and stay focused on the writing. The goal for me was to write 500 words a day, but I didn't know how long that was going to take. I did have to finish it by 9:30 in the morning for the French workweek experiment, but that is why. This writing session that you are seeing took about 8 minutes. Even though I had read Page 1 to Done right before starting this experiment, I needed a little refresher. For the second day, I went over to my apartment. You can see that, like in my older vlogs, I am near a window at my apartment with my desk versus when I am at my mom's apartment in my bedroom. The windows are behind me and the light from outside normally doesn't even reach me from that distance. So this is a different setup. I don't know if that had much of an impact on my writing productivity, but if I remember correctly, I had a lot more time to do this writing session. In Ellipsis, they let you do a timer, which is really cool, and then it disappeared. It said I'd added 556 words during that sprint, which was really cool. The reason it says 563, though, is because I wrote a few more words at the end of it, and so I had to highlight everything that I'd actually done during that sprint. So I would say I wrote for 15 minutes and maybe 30 seconds or something, but that is over the amount of words that I need for today, and I have time before I'm supposed to start my workday. But I think I'm going to use this time to just do nothing. I've been filling my free time with my phone, unlike what Jessica Brody recommends in her book, Page 1 to Done. So I'm going to try to actually do that. I am very satisfied with what I wrote. I'm actually drafting this chapter from scratch, basically. Even though in Scrivener, I do have a version of it here, but I didn't read it before I started this. I did briefly check here just by glancing what the accent was on this word, because I haven't written it in a while, but I got it correct, and then I knew Gege from memory. So that was relatively easy. I normally don't redraft. I'm someone who very much doesn't like the blank page, and if I've written something, I'm normally very quick to revise it. And yesterday I was revising chapter 1 and adding in certain things, but I figured that in the spirit of the page 1 to done exercise / challenge, whatever you want to call it, that I should just be going from scratch, especially because I had, since writing in Scrivener, done my Romancing the Beat outline and then the page 1 to done outline, which is a modified version of the Save the Cat outline, that I might as well just go all the way. So I'm quite satisfied with this writing session. Now I just need to log it in the page 1 to done app. It says I only need 490 words a day, but my goal has been 500, and then I'll log that here as well. So let's get to it. I wish that the page 1 to done let you say how long you sprinted for. TrackBear doesn't let you say how long you did it either, but I can add a note. They've both been logged, and it shows my words. It says 554 here and 563 here, which means I wrote more today than yesterday. This is here because this was my starting words in the manuscript. With TrackBear, you can say how many starting words there are in a project, which I really value. Here, not that I did that with this manuscript, because I started tracking it basically just from the beginning. I had outlined basically during this period and then drafted and then went through a period of drafting, and now I'm kind of starting from scratch again here. Maybe I should reset this so that it shows the actual manuscript. I don't know. I'll decide that later because as you can see, it is now 9:13 and I have less time just to myself, but I'm very satisfied with that. I really do think doing this in the morning and wearing a t-shirt seems to be enough because I didn't put my hair up and it all worked out. I will say that today I definitely consumed media before I did this, which I'm not supposed to do. I don't think it hurt me too much today, but I am going to try and avoid that tomorrow and going forward. So the typing of this clip is not sped up at all, even though the video is. So I just wanted you to enjoy how fast I type when I actually know what I'm doing. And here's the progress for that writing session. And my progress for the day. You can see me logging the words here. I have been writing more than the goal necessary according to page 1 to Dunn's app, where I was able to set the goal of my manuscript based on the genre, but I was doing this every day that I was writing. I won't explain it again. So I really slept in late today. Woke up at 9. But I think I really needed the sleep. Actually, just holding up the phone right now, I think between all the crocheting I did yesterday and the day before that, both my arms are really sore. So I didn't really want to get out of bed. I would rather have sore arms than sore legs though, because it means I can still do my physical therapy later. But now I have to get to work. So I didn't leave enough time to transfer all my stuff back into the living room. So I'm gonna have to go grab my work computer, bring it back in here, and also clean up my room so that it's ready for the live stream that's going to be happening at noon. I know that is during the work break that I'm supposed to be taking, but for me, live streams are also a social aspect. So I think what I'm going to do is just not work on any work during those sprints until we reach the 2 o'clock mark. So what that means is I'll be able to do another writing session because I did not reach 500 words in 7 minutes. And I'll also, I think, do other things. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, I definitely have some personal chores I need to do. So I think I'll be able to fill up that time. I'm happy with that number. I'm actually a little bit less happy with what I wrote. I think I was overthinking more today than I have in the past. So we'll see if tomorrow I can, do my writing sprint without as much overthinking. This French work experiment will be ending today, but I am going to be continuing the fast drafting. I just wrote 607 words in 20 minutes. I did have to verify the word count in wordcounter.net because I had cut a sentence and then pasted it right as ellipsis gave me my final word count for the time. It turns out that it had counted it, thank goodness. But that's done. It's been entered in the Page 1 to Done app and TrackBear, and I am still trucking along with this Page 1 to Done experiment, fast drafting. I did go back in to what I had written yesterday and added some stuff, but I didn't really edit. It was just there was something I realized needed to bridge something that I had thought about yesterday. Because I didn't delete any words, I think that's still okay with fast drafting. I wasn't editing, as I said. But I got a good amount done. When I set up this camera shot to try something new, I did not realize I was completely blocking my personal computer screen, which is kind of the point of showing me making progress on this story. So please enjoy my screen recording because I had at least the foresight to also set that up. So Kate just ended her live stream, and I wrote during the last 25 minutes of what was a 74-minute sprint. I think it was 74, or was it 64? Whatever. The point is, it was a long sprint. I did not work the entire time on my writing during that, just the last 25 minutes. During which time you saw me fighting with ellipsis a little bit, or maybe you saw me, I'm not actually sure if you could see past my body on the screen the way I had my phone angled, so I apologize if you couldn't see anything. But basically, I wrote 585 words, which is good. That's over the 500 words I need for the day. And I got it all in one session, which always makes me feel better than having to break it up. But it wasn't syncing. And I didn't know why, and the status of their website said it was fine. And it turned out that my built-in ad blocker by using Brave browser was preventing it from syncing, which has never been a problem before, which was really frustrating, but I eventually figured it out. I can only imagine what I would have been able to get had I not been spending time every time I wrote a few sentences trying to save it. But it did save successfully, so that's what matters most. And I wound up surprising myself with this scene that I just wrote because I wasn't sure how to end the chapter, because I basically ended the scene yesterday within the chapter. And I was like, I don't like that as an ending. And this is pantsing, and in between, you know, the plot points that I have for Romancing the Beat, and definitely in between the things that I've outlined through the Saving the Cat foundation beats, which is only 5 of the 15, and are the ones that matter in page 1 to 10. So I completely pantsed a scene that I actually kind of like. It's really rough. It's not going to be that when it eventually gets published, however that will be, and whenever that'll be. But I kind of like it. I don't know. I normally have all my scenes outlined. That's how I'm doing it with my other work in progress, which is currently on the back burner, but my thriller, Kingpin Killers, I outlined every single chapter. Sometimes things take longer than what I had outlined it for. Like maybe I thought it would all exist within one chapter, but it turns out it gets split across 2 just because it takes longer. But I know what's happening. This was just, oh, what if this happened, as I'm writing it out without any real forethought in advance of it. So that was an interesting experience that I don't think I've had since I was working on my first novel, which I had self-published, took down, edited, combined with the other 2 books that were supposed to be in the trilogy to make one book. And yeah, so it feels good now, but I think in the past when I had no plan and this was the only way I was working, like without any tentpole outlining, it's how I would write myself into corners and get stuck all the time, which is something I still do with my fan fiction. So yeah, anyway, I like this writing session despite the technical difficulties. I ran into more syncing problems today. There is another ad blocker plugin on my browser, and I disabled that. But if I keep having problems with ellipsis, I think I'm going to have to switch back to Scrivener and just use the Forest app on my phone as my timer instead of using the built-in one that ellipsis has, because this is ridiculous. After I stopped filming, I kept thinking I'd pick it up again, and things just kept happening that I didn't. I would like to go back to it, but really what I think my problem that I have run into is that I didn't outline enough in the story. Now, in her book, Page 1 to Done, she chooses 5 of the beats from the Save the Cat method, which she calls foundational beats in her Save the Cat, Write the Novel book, and repeats in the Save the Cat, Writes a Young Adult Novel book. And I didn't go beyond that. I used to pants my own novels years and years ago. I struggled so much to finish books, and once I started outlining, I then was able to write and self-publish 7 titles so far. And I had been planning this story. I had done a whole Romancing the Beat outline. I was trying to do a chapter by chapter outline even before the Romancing the Beat, but I had gotten stuck on that as well. And so I have a technically complete Save the Cat outline. I have a complete Romancing the Beat outline. I don't have a complete chapter by chapter outline. And there's something about this story that I was working on in this vlog and want to continue working on, where I don't know enough about the work lives of my characters, which is hard because a lot of the story is going to involve their work, or know that like, oh, this is when they can hang out because they won't have meetings at this time, but what is that work life normally for that industry? Because none of them work in the book publishing industry. None of them work from home like I do. I'm able to write what I know in a lot of their emotions and things like that, but even their personal lives and their socio-political identities are different from mine, even though I share certain elements with it. And there's just so much research that I thought I would do later, even though the book says do as much research as you need to get started. And I think I jumped the gun a little bit too much. And then also, I wasn't working on my story in between sessions because I didn't want to burn out on working on my own stuff, because I hadn't worked on my own stuff in a very long time. But the book, Page 1 to Done, does recommend that in between sessions, you research what you find out that you've needed to research in order to keep going. And I wasn't doing that. So is this a perfect experiment of following this book? No. And would I like to try again in the future? Yes. And if I do, I will vlog it. But I really would love to hear what you think of what you saw me do. What would you do differently? Have you read the book? Please know I will be making multiple videos about this book in the future, and I hope to have them up soon, and I will probably ask you similar questions over there as well. But would you try Jessica Brody's method of fast drafting? If you are a fan of Kate Kavanaugh or a bunch of other author tubers who already do fast drafting, do you think that this is a different method based on what you saw me doing, or do you think it's more or less the same on first glance? So would that change whether or not you would try Jessica Brody's version? Let me know in the comments down below what you're working on. Have you ever fast drafted? What were your pitfalls? And do you have any advice for someone like me who has been a slow drafter my whole life and is trying to get faster at it? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.